I probably applied to over 100 roles and maybe did over 50 interviews. So I know interviewing can be very, very stressful, like putting yourself out there continuously over and over again, giving your best self, putting your best foot forward is stressful. It can be exhausting. And I know that because I was once there a couple of years back when I was in the job market. I was interviewing. I probably applied to over 100 roles and maybe did over 50 interviews back to back. I was interviewing. It was exhausting, and just, it sucks when you do all of that and you don't hear back. You don't even know if you were a good fit or whatever, or maybe you just even get ghosted sometimes. It's so frustrating. And in today's video, I am here to tell you exactly why you haven't gotten that job, exactly why you've not gotten a call back from the interviews. Hi, my name is Moyo and welcome to Grow with Mo, a personal development channel helping you adults one video at a time. I hope to share personal and professional development growth tips that I have picked up over the years. Now let's get into today's video. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, I interviewed for a job and I honestly thought that I knocked the interview out of the park. Like, I connected with all the interviewers. It was like a very great experience. I was excited. I felt confident, which is not something that's like, it doesn't happen often, because sometimes you finish an interview and you're just like, oh, there's this one interviewer, I'm not sure. But this one, I was very confident in my abilities and I was excited and I was just waiting, like, okay, bam, bam. After like a few days, I'm going to get my offer. But there was a plot twist. I finished the interview, waited a few days. Of course, I sent out the usual thank you emails to my interviewers. And I was waiting to hear back from the recruiter. Crickets. A week went by, a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. I decided to send a follow-up email. Hey, what's popping? I really enjoy talking to your people, but I haven't heard anything back, And he goes, yeah, we're still kind of, talking behind the scenes and you're just kind of getting something set up. We'll reach back to you soon. Said, okay, cool. Continued that process, for a while. I never heard back until like almost a month to my interview. At that point, I was starting to feel my confidence started to wane. I was feeling like, maybe this wasn't as great as I thought it was. Was I like a little delulu? And I then, about a month after, I get an automatic email of, unfortunately, we decided to move forward with somebody else, blah, blah, blah. The yada, 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 the regular emails. And I was like, I was devastated, to say the least, because it really hit me, because I was like, if I feel so confident about this and I didn't get a job, what about the ones that I don't even feel as confident as? Fast forward to 3 months, 2-3 months later, the hiring manager of this job reached back out to me to say, hey, there's this job that is coming open within my team and I think you'll be a great fit. I would love for you to go apply. I was like, what? First of all, I was like super surprised, because now on the opposite side of hiring, I know how much work hiring managers do to sift through and comb through a lot of qualified applicants and job applicants. And for the manager to still remember, like, how do you even remember who I am? Because you probably speak to hundreds of candidates. So I was super surprised, but I appreciated that and everything. Long story short, after 3 trials, I am currently working in the job for that company. I accepted an offer for a job with that company. I tell you this story to lead to my point of why you haven't gotten a job or why it's just not worked out. And the simple answer is, it's just not time. It's not your job. It's not time for that. I know it sounds very simplistic and maybe it's a bit annoying, because it's almost like all these philosophical quotes that people say, oh yeah, the job is just not for you. Basically, for the most part, it's actually true, because there's a gazillion reasons why you're not getting a call back. There's a gazillion reasons why you haven't gotten the job. Given that you have done every other thing that you know to do, like prepare for your interviews, tell the story that aligns with the role, the story that aligns with your skill sets, and you put your best foot forward every time, doing everything, checked all the boxes that you need to check, but you're still not getting the job, it's just not time. Because a lot of times, you don't see what's going on behind the scenes. For me, for that example that I give, the story I told you, I did not know what was going on behind the scenes, and I would later come to find that they actually really, really liked me. Like, I was told that everybody enjoyed chatting with me during the interview, but there was another candidate that had a specific experience that they needed immediately, and I didn't have that. So they decided to go with that candidate, and they even considered creating a new job role for me just so I could get hired, because they felt I was a great candidate for the company. I didn't know all of this. If to me it was just like, oh, I failed another interview, and my confidence was waning and all of that. But there was this whole new world of conversation going on behind the scenes that I was not aware of. I did not know, and quite frankly, I understand why they chose not to share that, or maybe it might have just slipped through the cracks. And a lot of these things happen. So I have been on the front end of being the job applicant, and on the back end of being, on the recruiting team or interview team, and just kind of seeing both sides has given me a perspective shift that a lot of times there's so many reasons, that so many variables that play a role when it comes to selecting a job applicant or finding the perfect person for a role. And a lot of times we're not, as job applicants, we're not privy to that information. So I'm recording this video to encourage you that you should not give up. The job market, or the interview or whatever process, is pretty flawed. It's also a numbers game. You need to put in applications to actually get a job. I hope you know that. You have to keep working at it. You have to keep doing it. You have to keep going through your strategy, like the way you're putting yourself forward, and seeing things that you can adjust, and just continuously improving yourself. And I also want to say that you should not burn bridges, because you can see in my case, the job that I absolutely, felt devastated about, that I didn't get, came back around to actually lead me to the job that I would eventually get. So it's very important to not, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Give yourself grace as you're going through the job market, because it's hard. I know it's very, very hard, but you just have to keep showing up. There were so many jobs while I was job hunting that I really wanted. I wanted them to work out so bad, but it didn't work out, and I was being redirected to the job that was eventually for me, that I was gonna get. And it sounds super philosophical, but honestly, speaking from experience, that's the reality. There's so many qualified people that are just as qualified or even more qualified than you, but there's so many stars that need to align sometimes for something to click, if you know what I mean. So I'm basically just saying all of this yada 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 chatting is just to say that don't overthink things when you don't get a call back or when you don't get a job. There might be a gazillion different reasons. It might be you're actually not a good fit for that role, which is also good that you didn't get it, because getting a job that you're not a good fit for would eventually be a source of frustration. And I almost wanted to take a job that I wasn't a good fit for, and I now in retrospect it would have been a terrible idea, because I wouldn't have been successful in that job. So I'm here to tell you, I understand, I get it. It's tough, it's frustrating, it's annoying. When you get ghosted, come on, I understand all of those emotions, but don't give up. I hope you continue to push, and eventually you will hit the jackpot for that job. I hope you found this useful, and if you have, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe so you can get more of this. I hope to see more of you. Thanks for coming, and see you next time. Bye.